Hello everyone, DeckTrolls here. Today I have for you my pendulum deck. It kind of revolves around the non-pendulum effect Performapal monsters. But yeah, it's my Performapal deck for the most part. I have ideas for a future Performapal deck that has to do with OTK and burns and stuff. But for now, this is what I've got. I hope you guys enjoy it. Let's see what we got. We got 2 Performapal Sky Magician. Once per turn, if you activate a spell card, this card gains 300 attack. Quick effect. You can target one continuous spell card you control, return it to the hand. Then you can activate one Magician continuous spell card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Performapal Sky Magician once per turn. If this face-up card leaves the field, you can target one card on the field and destroy it. You got 1 Performapal Sleight Hand Magician. You can special summon this card from your hand by tributing one Performapal monster, except a Pendulum monster. Once per turn, you can discard one card, then target one face-up card on the field and destroy it. Got 2 Performapal Review Dancer. If your opponent controls a monster and you control no monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. Also, this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a Performapal monster. 1 Performapal Sky Pupil. During either player's turn, you can return one level 5 or higher Performapal monster from your that you control to the hand. Special summon this card from your hand. You can only use this effect of Performapal Sky Pupil once per turn. If this card battles an opponent's monster, that monster has its effects negated until the end of the damage step. Before damage calculation, if this card attacked an opponent's monster while you control another Performapal monster, you can destroy that opponent's monster. Now we got 3 Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer. It's a scale 2. Its pendulum effect. If a Performapal monster is pendulum summoned to your field, all Performapal monsters you currently control gain 1000 attack until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. Its monster effect is, if this card is special summoned, you can target up to 2 cards you control, destroy them, and if you do, add Performapal monsters with different names from your deck to your hand, except Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer, equal to the number of cards destroyed. You can only use this effect of Performapal Pendulum Sorcerer once per turn. And you got 3 Performapal Parrot Trio. It's a scale 2. Pendulum effect is once per turn, if you control a Performapal Magician or Odd Eyes card in your other Pendulum zone, except a Performapal Parrot Trio, you can make this card's pendulum scale become 7 until the end of this turn. Its monster effect, when this card is destroyed by battle, you can special summon one Performapal monster from your deck except a Pendulum monster. We got 2 Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. It's scale 4, and its pendulum effect is, you can reduce the battle damage you take from attack involving a pendulum monster you control to 0. During the end phase, you can destroy this card, and if you do, add one pendulum monster with 1500 or less attack from your deck to your hand. You can only use each pendulum effect of Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon once per turn. Its monster effect is, if this card battles an opponent's monster, any battle damage this card inflicts to your opponent is doubled. Now you got 3 Performapal Odd Eyes Unicorn. It's scale 8, and its pendulum effect is, once while this card is in your pendulum zone, when an Odd Eyes monster you control declares an attack, you can target one other Performapal monster you control. That attacking monster gains attack equal to the original attack of the targeted monster on the field until the end of the battle phase, even if this card leaves the field. And its monster effect is, when this card is normal or special summon, you can target one Performapal monster in your graveyard, gain life points equal to its attack. Got one Performapal Longphone Bull. When this card is special summon, you can add one Performapal monster from your deck to your hand, except a Pendulum monster. You can only use this effect of Performapal Longphone Bull once per turn. And we got two Performapal Second Donkey. When this card is normal or special summon, you can send one Performapal monster from your deck to your graveyard, except Performapal Second Donkey. If you have two cards in your Pendulum zones, you can add it to your hand instead. Alright, now for the spells, we have one Sky Iris. Your opponent cannot target Magician, Performapal, or Odd Eyes cards in your Pendulum zones with card effects. You can target one other face-up card you control, destroy it, and if you do, add an Odd Eyes card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect of Sky Iris once per turn. One Terraforming. Add one field spell from your deck to your hand. You got two Magician's Right Hand. Negate the effects of your opponent's first spell card or effect that resolves each turn while you control a spellcaster type monster, and if you do, or if it did not have an effect, destroy that card. You got one Magician's Left Hand. Negate the effect of your opponent's first trap card or effect that resolves each turn while you control a spellcaster type monster, and if you do, destroy that card. One Magician's Restage. You can target one level 3 or lower spellcaster type monster in your graveyard, special summon it. This effect can only be used once while this card is face up on the field. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Magician Continuous spell card from your deck to your hand, except Magician's Restage. Got two Bubble Barrier. Each Performapal and Performance monster you control cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects once per turn. You take no battle damage from attacks involving a Performapal or Performance monster you control. And Performance monster. You got one Wonder Balloons. Once per turn, you can send any number of cards from your hand to the graveyard and place one balloon counter from this on this card for each card sent to the graveyard. All monsters your opponent controls lose 300 attack for each balloon counter on this card. You got two Performance Hurricane. Target cards your opponent controls up to the number of Performapal monsters you control. Return them to the hand. You can only activate one Performance Hurricane per turn. Got one Performapal Recasting. Reveal any number of Performapal monsters in your hand and shuffle them into the deck. Then draw cards equal to the number of cards you shuffled into the deck plus one. You can only activate one Performapal Recasting per turn. And one Odd Eyes Fusion. Fusion summon one Dragon Fusion monster from your extra deck, using monsters from your hand or field as fusion materials. If your opponent controls two or more monsters than you do, you control no monsters, you can also use two Odd Eyes monsters in your extra deck as fusion materials. You can only activate one Odd Eyes Fusion per turn. Alright, now we got two Performapal Pinch Helper. Once per turn, when an opponent's monster declares a direct attack, you can negate the attack, and if you do, special summon one Performapal monster from your deck, but its effects are negated when an attack is declared involving a monster you control and an opponent's monster. You can send this card to the graveyard. You take no battle damage from that battle. You got 2 Performapal Revival. If a monster you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, special summon 1 Performapal monster from your hand or graveyard. And lastly, for the main deck, because of our Performapal Sky Magician's effect for popping a card when it leaves the field, we got 3 Interdimensional Matter Transporter. Target 1 face-up monster you control, banish that target until the end phase. So that means it'll leave the field, pop a monster, and then come back during the end phase. Alright, now for the extra deck, we have 1 Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon. Requires 1 Odd Eyes monster and 1 Pendulum monster. When this card is special summoned, you can target 1 of your opponent's face-up attack position monster, return it to the hand. When a spell or trap card or other monster's effect is activated, quick effect. You can shuffle 1 face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck into the deck, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You can only use each effect of Odd Eyes Vortex Dragon once per turn. You got 1 Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon. Requires 1 tuner or 1 or more non-tuner monsters. When this card is special summoned, you can target 1 card in your Pendulum Zone, special summon it. Also, this card cannot attack for the rest of the turn. You can only use this effect of Odd Eyes Meteor Burst Dragon once per turn. Monsters in your opponent's possession cannot activate their effects during the battle phase. You got 1 Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. Requires 2 level 4 monsters. You can detach 2 materials from this card, then target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if it does, this card gains half the lost attack. Got 1 Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. Requires 2 level 7 monsters. When any player's monster declares an attack, you can detach 1 material from this card, negate the attack. Then you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monster from your hand or graveyard. If this card is Xyz summoned and sent to the graveyard, you can special summon. If this Xyz summon card is sent to the graveyard, you can special summon 1 Odd Eyes monster from your extra deck, except Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon. You can only use each effect of Odd Eyes Absolute Dragon once per turn. And lastly, for the extra deck, we have 1 Odd Eyes Raging Dragon. It's scale 1, and its pendulum effect is once per turn. If you have no cards in your other Pendulum Zone, you can place 1 pendulum monster from your extra deck into your Pendulum Zone. Its requirements are 2 level 7 dragon type monsters. If you can pendulum summon, its pendulum effect is once, I already read that. It requires 2 level 7 dragon type monsters. If you can pendulum summon a level 7, you can pendulum summon this card from face up from your extra deck. If this card in the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in your pendulum zone. If this card is Xyz summoned using an Xyz monster as material, it gains these effects. It can make a second attack during each battle phase, and once per turn, you can detach 1 material from it, destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible. And if you do, this card gains 200 attack for each until the end of this turn. Alright guys, so that is my Performapal deck profile. So, tell me what you think. What did you like? What did you dislike? What would you do to improve it? Please comment below. I love when you guys comment. Yeah, expect another Performapal deck in the future that revolves around that little slingshot Performapal guy. I forget his name at the moment, but he has a pretty fun effect, and I'm thinking of making a deck about that one. And yeah, so remember, I have 100+ budget-friendly decks. There's going to be a lot of fun content coming your way, so please make sure to like and subscribe. Most importantly, have fun!